This video is to go over how to create assignments on class pages on Powerschool's Unified Classroom. So here I am set to my world history classes. In a previous video I discussed how to make a master class, so all of the changes that you make to a class page will apply to all of the different sections. So the two different sections for world history, all their class pages will look like the one here. So in order to create assignments, there are a couple of different ways to do it. As long as you want to submit your activities online, you need to create your assignments within class pages. If there are no online submissions, they still will not show to students on class pages. So it's up to you. I would really recommend for minarets to stay within class pages and create your assignments there. If there is nothing for the students to submit online, you can easily uncheck a box. So one way to create an assignment is to go up here to Activities. Obviously there are all these different options, but we are going to go to Assignments. So this will take you to the list of your assignments. So I have two different assignments going on right now for my world history classes. So you can easily just create an assignment here up at the Add Assignment button. You will be able to add in a title, so let's just call this Career Test as a Practice. If you have any rubrics made, I have the Academic Presentation rubric made. You can select it there. You can also add in your details, so if you want a description, let's just say, please see attached document for more information. And then you obviously have all these abilities to edit and make it super cool. Then when you scroll down, well, first, if you are attaching a Google Doc, you can either upload a file or attach a Google Doc. Those are my dogs, I am sorry. Now, the really nice thing, I'm not sure if anyone has used Google Classroom, but through the Powerschool Unified Classroom, you are actually able to do the same feature where you can create handouts or push out copies to students, so they don't have to manually go in and make a copy every time. So let me just put down, okay, this document will work. So when you put that in, there is the option here to read only. So if you only want the students to be able to read it, if you want the students to be able to comment on it, if you want them to all have editing access and collaborate, you can do that as well, or PDF. So we can make it read only, and if I wanted to do a handout, I would click this box here. So that means for every student that signs on, they will automatically go through and it will create their own copy of that assignment. I'm not going to mark that because I don't want to confuse my students. So going back up here to the sections, let's say, well, not let's say, I have an odd and an even history class. So obviously the due date that would be on a Wednesday would work for my odd classes, but not for my even classes. So if I uncheck this box, I can then set the custom dates. So let's make it for my 8th period. We'll make it a Thursday. You can change the times. If you want students to submit something online, this will be checked automatically. If not, you can uncheck it. Should also be saved in the gradebook. You can adjust the total points. And then, I'm sorry, my dog is trying to help me right now. No, thank you. You can also go to assignment blocks, which I'll show you that in the second way that you can create assignments. But basically, if you have different content blocks on the different pages, so for Unit 1 you have an assignment block, you can choose to add it to that block so the students can see it there on that page. So I'll do this here just as an example so you can see it. I will click Save. And it will pop up here. It shows me how much I have ungraded. We'll go over grading in another video, but it shows up there, and it also tells me which page is on with the due dates. And you'll notice that it does have the asterisk next to it. That just indicates that there are differing due dates based on the periods. So now if I go back to my general class page, you will see in the assignment box, when it loads, the assignment. And it's loading. So I need to go to my first week page. And there in the assignment block, you can see the career test where it has the information and the due dates. And then students are able to access it from there and turn it in. Now, let's say I want to create an assignment, but I want to do it through the assignment block. Well, first, let's create an assignment block so you guys can see this. Let me switch back to my home page just so it doesn't get confused that I have two different assignment blocks. You're going to go up here to Content Block. These are just simply like the different Legos that you can use to add information to your pages. So here there's Content, Calendar, and we want Messages and Activities. You will see Assignment. You can give it a title, so if you want it to be called Unit 1 Work, maybe you want it to be called Blog Posts, whatever you'd like, you can name it that. You can also choose to hide the title if you don't want the students to see it for whatever reason. And then when you create the assignment block, you have the options to add assignments as you have them in. So we'll just make this map test or map review. Exact same screen as before, nothing's changed. I can uncheck the boxes to set the custom due dates. I can adjust the points. I can show it. You'll see it's already showing automatically in the assignment block. Maybe if I don't want to have it on that page, I can choose actually to put it on both. So if you want to have duplicates, you can easily do that. I'm just going to keep it on the one. And then I would just click Save, and it will show up in my assignment block. But the third step, this screen pops up. This is where you actually edit the assignment block itself. So you'll see that it shows the assignments down here. I can add existing assignments that I have already made. So if I wanted to add like my icebreaker on there so students could see it, I could easily do that. I can add in, below are the assignments for Unit 1. And then I click Save. And so that shows you what it looks like from there. Now let's say I want to add in another assignment already to this assignment block. You would just go up here to Manage, Edit, and New Assignment, which would once again repeat the entire process. Another way that you can create assignments on Powerschool is through not class pages, but the manual way. So this is the way that will show up in the gradebook. It will show up on Powerschool, but the problem is it will not show up on class pages, which could be confusing. So up here at the top, there is this plus sign. When you go there, it will take you to a very different screen for creating an assignment. So let's call this just sample. I can add in the nifty stuff. This is where you can select which category you want. As it was mentioned in the earlier meeting, when you create in class pages, you cannot change the category. You have to go back and do it manually. You can change the type of work that you want it, the visibility if you want it to be viewable immediately, points, etc. You guys can read through this, the due dates, students, standards, etc. So when I create this assignment, I will create it so you can see. I want to save it. And then you back out. So that assignment, when you go over to grading, which is where your gradebook is, and you go to assignment and activities list, you can see that my sample work shows up as green, and it still shows up in my assignments. It will show up in my gradebook. These little paper clips indicate online work. If there is no paper clip, that just simply means it was created, like these were created in class pages, but they were not available for online submission. So you can see it shows up here. It will show up in the gradebook just like any other assignment. The problem is that if you use class pages as your online submission for all of your students, it will not show up. So let's switch over to the class page so you can see what I'm talking about. As we know, there are a couple of different ways to create assignments. When you look at the assignments, so you go to Activities and Assignments, you will notice that the sample assignment does not show up. Now, if I go back to the general pages, and let's say I created that assignment using the plus sign, and now I want to add it to my assignment block, I'm going to go up here to Edit. I'm going to go to, whoops, I did not mean New Assignment. That was a test. I would go to Add Existing because I already created it. But you will notice once again it is not showing up. So this does not mean that the assignment does not exist. It is still in PowerSchool. It is still in your gradebook. But I am not able to put it on class pages for the students to see. The students can still see it in their gradebook. But I know for me, I'm going to be living 100% in class pages. So I would prefer for my own mental well-being to create all of my assignments within here. But of course, if your class is offline like PE, you can easily just use that plus sign to create an assignment and do it from there because students are not going to be accessing it online through class pages. Hope this was helpful.